Good afternoon, folks. As I'm sure you're aware, we will be passing Mars in 3 days' time. Now, this is the closest we will come for another 32 years. However, today around 4, we will also have a very clear view on our port side. This might still be the clearest. Definitely try to see this.
We interrupt this scheduled broadcast for a breaking news update from the Sticky Buttons podcast.
What is up, my friend?
What is up, dog? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm just chilling out here in the city today. It's starting to turn into fall, and I'm loving it. You can see I got a flannel on. Flannel weather is one of my favorite types of the year. I just love fall. It's my favorite season, so I'm super pumped about just the vibes right now. So
Yeah, I can tell that flannel's a great lively pattern.
it's got some orange and purple, or actually I think it's navy blue. I'm a little bit colorblind, but yeah, my grandma got this for me. So thanks, Grandma.
Hey, shout outs to grandmas.
So today I think we're going to be talking about two games that we're each playing, and we're going to be starting off with games we're excited to play. So, Brandon, what are you excited to play, my friend? Anything been tickling the noggin?
That is the question. What am I excited to play? You know, I am really looking forward to this Nintendo Switch kind of package deal where they've remastered some old Nintendo games that were on the GameCube. That's Mario Sunshine. That's, Mario 64, which was on the Nintendo 64 actually. And another Nintendo game that I'm not remembering right now is included in the package.
I have heard of this. I think it's Galaxy.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, I have heard about this, and I personally don't have a ton of nostalgia for the series, but I would love to hear why you're excited about this, man. Is it just like kind of like just like the game library kind of thing, just to like play games that you've been excited to or that you have played in the past? Or?
Yeah, and Mario 64 is one of those games that I would play on my DS a lot, voraciously. And I never quite finished it. It was just one of those games where it's just so mesmerizing and there's so much to do and you really get lost in it. I want to get back into that.
So you said you played this is 64 and you played that on your DS?
Yeah.
I didn't wait, so oh man, I get so confused with the Mario franchise. So for some reason I thought that Mario 64 came out on the Nintendo 64.
It did. There's Super Mario 64 that came out on the Nintendo 64, but then there's also a Mario 64 that was remastered for the DS, and
gotcha.
It's
okay.
Actually, sorry, I should have made that distinction clear. On the DS, it's called Super Mario 64 DS.
Okay. No, I mean I wouldn't have known the difference anyways.
Right.
I pretty much the only Mario game that I've like really gotten into was like the one that came out with the Wii. I don't even know what it would have been, but it was like the one with the Wii and you had like you could like shake it and you had like the helicopter hats.
I remember that one. Yeah.
Me and my sister would jump on the co-op and play that, and we would just run it.
It's awesome.
I have a lot of fun memories playing with her. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, is there any one of the three that you're more excited for than the others? Have you played all three of them before?
Yeah, I've played all three: Galaxy, Sunshine. I'm looking forward to Sunshine a lot because Sunshine, I have the least memories about, so I'm most excited about that one.
You to like check that one out again?
Yeah.
I actually I don't know if you would know this, but I have a question about how Galaxy's gonna go. Because I played Galaxy a little bit on the Wii, and you had to like point like with the remote, you had to like point it at the Wii monitor, and like that's where like your thing would point. And I wonder how that's gonna play, how that's gonna work out.
It's a good question.
Because I mean,
I wonder as well.
I think that the Switch has like a little bit of motion sensor in it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It does have a bit of motion sensor functionality. And I do see a way that you'd be able to play Galaxy, if you connect the HDMI, connect the Switch to your TV or a monitor, and you can like play remotely with your two
Yeah, but
Switch
I guess there's
Joy-Cons.
also like it has to be you have to do it in handheld, so you wouldn't have anything that you're pointing at. So I wonder if it's like how it's going to do that.
I'm curious as well, and there's only one way to find out.
Yeah, that's true. So when does this come out?
It's already out. I've just been, kind of on the fence about purchasing it right now. My eyes just been on the markets recently and
Yeah.
allocating my money there.
Yeah, it's definitely gaming's an expensive hobby, and sometimes like it's hard to like set the money aside sometimes, especially because like for us we play so much and we have so many games that like it's easy to be like, oh, like I don't need that game, like I can just play what I have,
Right.
But I mean like checking new stuff out is so fun, and there's definitely like anything has the potential to be a changing game for you. So, but yeah, definitely being smart with your money is something that I totally understand because I am also in the same boat. I'm saving my money up for a Switch, and that's kind of what I'm super excited about is getting a Switch, and I'm really excited to get the new Pokemon game. I mean, it's
Man,
new
that's
to
a
me.
fun game.
Yeah, I'm still undecided on if I'm gonna go Sword or Shield.
I think you should go with both. That's what I did.
I don't know if I
I
can. I
went
don't
with
know if I
both.
can do that. Isn't
And
there
that way
like?
you can like get yourself both starters and stuff and really hook yourself up.
Oh yeah, 'cause can you trade in between? Can you trade?
Yeah.
Wait, so if I got both of them, I could trade all. I could get 6 of them on one, and then take the other 3 back to the other one.
You could do a lot of stuff with 2 copies.
Wait, so if you have 2 copies, you have to have 2 switches, is it?
Um, Not really, not necessarily. You can still figure out stuff like with the Pokemon Bank and whatnot. There's a lot of ways.
Is that what you
I'm
did?
sure. I'm lucky to have a Switch Lite and the Switch,
Ah.
and use those to like interchange. So yeah, the answer to your question is yes. I think you do need 2 Switches to do that with the 2 copies.
It's a good thing I got you as a friend. I can just
Yeah,
do it online, can't we?
we can do that online. I can hook you up with a lot of Pokemon for sure.
I'm excited. I'm really excited to check it out. I was actually just listening to a podcast about it. And I'm really excited to check out some of the new features. As I was actually listening to it as I was playing Pearl, which is the newest one that I have.
I'm excited for you because I know you're gonna put the time into it and really explore it, and you're gonna have a good time being someone who hasn't played, the newer games in the franchise for a while.
I found this out the other day because I was looking something up for Pearl, and I found out that there's like fairy type Pokemon, and I have not played a game with fairy type Pokemon in them.
Yeah, that's a new type, man.
Is
Fairy
that new
types.
for this one, or has that been out for a while?
I think it's been out for 2 regions now. So it's been out for this last region and the region before.
Yeah,
I used to keep up with the Pokemon shows, with the
yeah.
anime. And yeah, it was fun to watch for a while, but it just got really repetitive.
Do they make a new season for like each game, like
Not
set
for
in
like
that
each
region?
game per se, but for each region, when they unveil a new region in a game, they have to make, a story to follow, explore the region.
On that note, I actually did check out one of the shows you recommended to me last episode. I
What show is that?
checked out Naruto,
You did.
and I thought the first episode was really cool. I was really into it, and then the second episode, I kind of like got 15 minutes in, and I was like, I don't know. I was like, I'm sure that like it's gonna move past this pretty quick, but then I was like, it was the second episode, he just like Naruto like just turns into that like really hot girl and like makes like the
Yeah.
elders like nose bleed, and then he like tries to teach this other guy how to do it, and it's like a
Yeah.
really ugly girl. That's what you like. Not the like. And I'm just gonna move on.
It was pretty funny. It was really funny because I was just talking about that like concept the other day of like nosebleeds when men see something like that, and it's just like the idea of blood rushing somewhere, and yeah,
I didn't know that. That's
it's
funny.
pretty cool. But Naruto has a lot of filler. That's what I call a filler kind of. They put
Yeah.
that in there in the story to kind of give you like some.
And I feel like I genuinely, I really like the filler. I like it when they explore like character arcs in like different ways. Like I'm really into that. So maybe I think I might have to give it a little bit more of a chance. And I think I might take a different approach to it. I might throw it on while I'm doing something else, just to like kind of get invested in it. I'm thinking that might be a good way to do it.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of episodes. You're in for a long ride. If you catch this bug, there's a lot to explore.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping I do in a way because I could really use a new show.
I hope so too, man. I'd love to talk to you about it.
I'd love to like get into it and see if they're like. I'm sure there's like fan theories and stuff like that, and I think
Tons.
That'd be kind of cool.
Tons.
I want to know what happens to the guy from the first episode that like convinced Naruto to like steal the. Oh, that was my ringtone.
Orochimaru,
Maybe.
the snake guy.
No, it was like I don't know. He was just like from the first episode. The
villainous guy who.
Yeah, the
like,
villainous.
convinced-
He like convinced him to steal the
Oh, no.
scrolls.
Dude, he's yeah, that guy. You never see him again.
Oh, that's too bad. I kind of liked him. I mean, like not like. Yeah, I was just like I thought that was kind of cool. If that's how they're gonna set it up, like man, the main villain that's like, oh, like I'm in this for me and like only me.
Yeah, if you like that villain, I cannot wait till you see what's down the road because there are some villains that are just insane.
Yeah, I think it's cool when like a villain has like a cool narrative or like a good reason. If you were like set in their shoes, like and you like decided to go like full on bad guy, like like maybe you could see yourself doing something like that. Like I think that's why like Thanos is such like a relatable like hero. From like the Marvel universe. I fucking love Thanos. Dude's dope.
Really? You can see yourself sacrificing half of the universe?
No, because I understand that populations grow exponentially, but that wiping out half would not do anything. But I can like see where he's like coming from though. He's like in my head. I like this, like, also, like, I'm not the writer, like, I'm not creating that, like, I thought it was a cool narrative that they pushed, and I thought that, like, it's something to, like, if you don't think about it, like, too hard, and if you, like, in the moment for, like, 2 hours, if you're like, oh, shit, like, of course that makes sense, like, there's a finite amount of resources, like, let's just get rid of the people that consume the resources, whereas instead, like, if you think about it more, like, if you have infinite power, you could, like, find ways to generate more resources so that more people can live a happy, peaceful life. But
yeah,
whatever. I'm not Thanos, and the Gauntlet and Infinity Stones are not real. But
you don't know that.
That's true.
Can't count that up.
I had like a kind of like a conspiracy belief in like the back of my head that the Matrix was real, and like not to say that like it's not. I know a lot of people like including Elon Musk think that it's real, and like in my head I was like, oh, like if it was real, of course they'd make a movie calling it out on what it was, so that if anybody thought of it, they'd be like, oh, like you just got that from a movie, like to like completely dismiss them. I was like, oh, like that makes so much sense.
That's genius.
But I learned about some of the, like I was like really kind of, I was like kind of having like an existential crisis, and I was like, man, like is the Matrix real? And then like I like did some like research on it, and basically physicists like were like, if we were in the Matrix, there would be like a base pixel, and from the evidence that we can see now, like there's no base that our entire universe is based off of, like, you know what I'm saying, like built upon, and it's like it goes like infinitely smaller just as you can get infinitely bigger.
It's crazy.
And that's the evidence that they use to go against that.
That's interesting that you're mentioning that. I was just reading an article on New Scientist that was talking about the universe possibly being conscious, being one conscious being.
Oh,
I
shit.
don't know. I don't know. I just thought it was a beautiful thought. I gave it a read.
That'd be cool.
And scientists were talking about how mathematically one could come to that conclusion that it is possible for the universe to be somehow conscious. Interesting article on the New Scientist. Definitely.
I'd love to hear that argument, because if you can make an argument for that, you could also make an argument that our Earth is conscious, which you know, I mean, we're conscious, but I don't think that we know yet what is consciousness. Like, we don't know, like, we really don't know, like, how smart, like, animals are,
No,
like
totally.
dolphins and stuff like that. So, like, who's to say that, like, Mother Gaia isn't real and, like, you know, or, like, Earth Mother isn't real?
Who's to say we aren't like we have a control over that? We just don't know it.
Yeah.
We haven't
Yeah.
tapped into that consciousness, that level of consciousness, or that level of intelligence. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a long way to go. A lot of people think that we're the top dog, but I don't know. I think there are bigger dogs out there. We got a big
Yeah, I
part
think
though.
think there's some tools out there that we could explore.
Yeah.
Some more tools out there we can acquire.
I think that we're just smart enough to start to realize how little we know, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Gives me hope that just that suspense and disbelief of what could be out there in the real world is, or like even beyond us. You know, it's just exciting to think that I'm hoping that excitement is gonna like drive people more than like people's fears and prejudices. You know,
Totally.
because there's so much to discover.
The ocean alone. The ocean is so interesting. I'm reading this book right now called Deep, which I've talked to you about before plenty. And we're talking about dolphins. Have I told you this?
I don't think you have, man. I'd love to hear about
Okay, I've been telling a bunch of people about this. I've been driving people crazy.
it.
Because it drives me crazy how insanely complex dolphins are, and some of the work that scientists were doing to try and communicate with dolphins. You know, there were some scientists who, they put dolphins in a tank and they got Carl Sagan, and I don't know if you're familiar with who Carl Sagan is.
I definitely know who he is, but you could refresh my memory as well as our listeners
So,
as well.
to my knowledge, he's a theoretical physicist,
Yeah.
just a well-renowned scientist, and they asked him to, model a an experiment where they could kind of decipher dolphin language, and they did. They made a lot of progress, and they learned some of their calls. They were able to mimic some of their calls. As humans, we could like make dolphin sounds, not quite like it. Our sounds are more angular, but they're very similar, and dolphins try and mimic our sounds. And it's funny because the sounds that we like make mimicking them, they like later on studying them, dolphins kind of incorporated our sounds into their language because it was just like something so new. They were like they incorporated it because it was something that stood out to them,
That's so
obviously.
cool.
And but that's just like the beginning of a lot of the breakthroughs that they've found. They also found that dolphins can communicate visually. They can make like a visual kind of um, projection, if you will, in the ocean for each other. And it was really interesting because scientists were kind of learning how to do that as well
Like with their body and body movement,
with
or with
technology in the water. They were like making projections as dolphins do. It was interesting work, and like the end of like the culmination of it was they were they deciphered this language, and now they were ready to communicate. They were ready to take all of this language and get out there and talk to dolphins and try and see like their understanding of the world and show them our picture of the world and try and see what their picture was. And that's so exciting because
so
they might
cool.
be even more intelligent than we are. Their brains are a little larger. And
I almost think there's no doubts, dude. I mean, they can use echolocation, man. There's so much. I
yeah,
mean, like biologically, they're more advanced, but like, I think it'd be. I definitely can see that. They might be just as intelligent, if not more than us, but they might not have
yeah,
the tools, you know, because like we're like us, like, you know, like we're creatures that like we create tools, and we've always created tools like with our hands. And
right.
if they can't do that, maybe there's a way that we could create something for them. You
Yeah,
know, they might
maybe
be.
that was our destiny of like that symbiosis to
Hmm.
make something greater, to achieve something greater. Who knows? But that work was just so fascinating to me because that's like communicating with an alien species.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah, no,
who knows what dolphins know?
Yeah, and that's that's something that like if we ever like came upon like an intelligent species, like who's to say that they wouldn't be like dolphins and like they would have like a completely different vocal range. And while we're on this, I want to bring up bats really quick because I actually learned something recently about bats, and it's like blown my freaking mind that I'm like so like I'm like just how is this like even like I'm mad that I didn't know about it, and I'm also like mad about why I didn't know about it. Um, so before this was discovered, the like quote unquote like definition of what it was to be a primate is the front of your brain and the back of your brain have to be able to like communicate. And that was kind of like what was like determined, and I think it also like played a role in like like how intelligent a species is if their like back brain can talk to their front brain. And they discovered that like we can do it, like chimpanzees can do it, like all the other like primates, like there are some other like lesser apes that I guess can't do it, but like I'm pretty sure like lemurs can do it. And they discovered that bats can also do it. After that, they completely changed what the definition is, what the definition was to be a primate. And I was like, what? Like that is so stupid. Like maybe like maybe they are primates. And I think
Yeah,
that like I mean like if you
with
think
like
about
wings. Yeah,
it, yeah, like just look up pictures of them. Like you
they
can
could.
kind of
I could see that.
like they
Look at their
like
face.
they like a lot of them look a lot like lemurs, and like just like on like a different like like
Totally.
biological path, like they could like. And I think I was just like in my head I was like that is like crazy that like no like we didn't know about this. And like if you are doubting like me
Totally.
on this, like look it up, man. Like I'm like especially to the listeners, like look up what Braden just said about dolphins. Like look up what I said. Like that is like so cool that like we lived in this world with all these creatures and stuff. But basically like I'm kind of upset about it because like so like the word primate, I don't really remember exactly off the top of my head. Like if you are interested in this, like you should look up what primate means and like the beginning of the word, like the origin of the word. But I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
basically the meaning is that like we're superior, like and like we like like we came up with this name, so like we decided that we were like the superior ape.
Yeah.
uh, and I'm just like, I think that's a little bit fucked up because if bats like truly are primates, they have like the ability to fly and can use echolocation. Like they're totally more like biologically advanced than us. And
Yeah.
I think
I
that
mean, we can use echolocation as well. We just don't do it anymore. But we
really,
have that option. I
I
was
didn't
reading
know
that in the
that.
book. We can. There's some blind people that actually like they do echolocation, and they to a T can like walk up to a wall and stop, and like just do crazy shit. Like, have you ever seen Daredevil? Like, there are blind people that like are on that type of timing
Oh, that's fucking cool. That makes me feel better
with echolocation.
about
Yeah.
me being a human. That's cool.
Dude, we are fucking awesome. That's what I've learned in this book, and it's inspired me to get back in the water. I want to start swimming again.
Oh, that's
And
awesome, dude. You definitely
yeah,
should.
I eventually want to get into free diving and like holding my breath for 3-4 minutes at a time, like going down.
That is also a goal of mine, man. I feel like every summer I try and like hold my breath longer and longer. I think this summer I got to like 40 seconds. But I mean like it doesn't
Okay.
sound like that big. Like it's like you can't like if you're gonna run a marathon, you can't just like get up and run a marathon,
No,
you know.
totally.
So like you do have like that's like a muscle and like or like your lung capacity. Like, you have to practice that.
Yeah, you definitely have it takes a lot of work.
Yeah, dude, that is cool. If you find a
Like
place to swim, let me know because I love swimming. I also would love to get back into it. I got a speedo and some goggles, man. I'll join you.
yeah, man, do some laps. It's
I
good for
got
my shoulder. As you know, I got some shoulder issues.
yeah. I have some shoulder issues as well. I also love it for that. I feel like it's a good like all body workout. It's one of those cardios that you actually build muscle in.
Everywhere. You build muscle, your whole body.
Yeah, and it feels good too. Like Well, I can't, dude. I can't even like. I mean, like you obviously know this, but like when you get into the water and it's like so cold, and then you like do a couple of laps, like, and you're starting to like get into a groove, and then like all of a sudden you're like hot in this like cold
Yeah,
water, and you're just fucking moving. That feels so
yeah.
good.
That's oh man, I want to get back in my pool. I have a pool at my college that I
Mm.
use, but there's a YMCA near me that I could also go to.
Yeah, I'm debating on if I want to spend some money and get into a gym.
Dude, you should. It's important.
Yeah, I'm kind of still worried about COVID though.
Dude, it's not gonna get you. I promise.
Yeah, I think that if I keep thinking about it for another couple of weeks, I might look into getting an antibody test, and because I almost feel like I had to have had it
Yeah,
because I got sick. I mean, like I wasn't like also like with our age group, like a lot of people in our age group are asymptomatic. Yeah, and I don't know. I just feel like living in New York, I feel like I would have had to have been exposed to it. Like, because I've been
yeah,
careful, but like there have
totally.
been so many people that have been careful that have also got it, you know.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Yeah, let's talk about some video games that we've been playing, man. I'm really glad that we talked about that stuff. That's fucking lit, man. I'm glad that you shared that about the Dolphins. That's really cool. I fucking love our ocean, man. I don't know if I've ever talked to you about this, but I wanted to be a marine biologist for a long time. And I had
I can
like
see why.
yeah, I had like a little existential crisis in like my I think my junior year of college where I was like, fuck, am I like doing the wrong thing? And I kind of just stuck with what I was doing. Like I was like, man, like maybe someday I'll look into it. And then like after I got out of college and I was like I mean I'm free. Like after I got out of college, I was like, dude, like I can do like whatever the fuck I want. And
Right.
I was like, maybe I like should look into this. Like, and I was like, there were ways that I could do it with like the degree that I have. Like, I could like work in like in the finance of like an aquarium or something like that. I was like, there, like I could
Yeah.
definitely like make it work.
Dude, you
Um,
could get into it without it, dude. Totally.
yeah, yeah, and I mean, because I also like I have a bachelor of science too. Like, there's also things I could do, and then if I got like really serious, I could
Research.
like yeah, like go and get a master's. But I kind of decided that I decided not to, and that I decided that I think I'm on the right path because I listened to some podcasts about like ocean, like the state of the ocean and like coral and like if I like watch like a video about like the pollution in the ocean, like I'll cry. And like that's one of like the few things that's like that will make me at the drop of a hat, like I will be like crying for our oceans and
Yeah.
our earth, and it's so sad to me.
There's a lot of work to be done there.
Yeah, I'm really trying to be optimistic about it, but I
And
kind of
somebody's got
this
to do it.
yeah, and I think that there are a lot of people that are really passionate doing work there, and that's kind of like after listening to that, I was like, I think that it might be in better hands than mine because I feel like I don't know if I have the stomach to to be passionate and have that energy for something that I love and just to see it die. I don't think that I could. I feel like that would really fuck with my psyche because like I also like love being human and like I totally like get that the choices that we're gonna have to make are really hard and I think that I was like I might be better suited to not be in this like community in that aspect of it.
Ignorance is bliss.
No, not necessarily. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. Like, I am very aware of how bad it is. But I'm saying that I think that for me, I think that I might be able to make more of a difference doing something else than just like doing research.
Gotcha.
And I think that I don't think that my mental health, I don't think I'd be doing my mental health any favors. Like, I think that I would be
Yeah.
like even though that's like what I would love to do that all day, I don't know if I would if I actually did it because I feel like I would get depressed at the state of it.
I don't know, but it might also make you happy to see some dolphins just jumping out of the water because you don't go to dolphins. Dolphins come to you.
I actually I saw a dolphin a couple weeks ago.
Did you really?
I did, yeah. When I went to the beaches out in Delaware with Erin, my girlfriend, and we were just sitting on this little swing at the hotel that we were at. Like there was they had like a porch swing, like right by the pool, and I was like, that is awesome that they have like a porch swing. And we were just chilling on it, and then I saw like this huge fish, and I was like, oh my god, did you see that? Like I was like, oh, is that a shark? Like I was like, ooh. It was like some Jaws, because it's like a swimming beach. I was like, I'm about to see some Jaws shit. But then like I saw it again, and it was totally like there was like a pod of dolphins, and they were like 100 feet from the shore, and I was like, that is so cool.
That is
That's so
awesome.
awesome.
I wish I was there to see it, dude. I fucking love dolphins.
I do too, man. Dolphins are awesome. I got a little fish on my koozie here. You can see this one.
Yeah. What fish is that? You know?
That's the surfing. I think it's just like one of those flying fish. It's the
Oh, okay.
Patagonia surf logo. Have you ever actually ever seen one of these like fish fly out of the water, like flying fish?
No.
Oh man,
Never.
they're cool. They have like you should look it up on your phone really quick. They have like the coolest patterns. I think they're just called like flying fish. But I saw one time, and they have like just like some rad patterns, and like some of them like their wings are like kind of translucent. Let's see if I
Oh,
can
man.
pull one
This
up.
one's like skipping over the water.
They're cool looking.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're badass.
they got like two sets of wings.
This is like a Pokemon.
They do look like a Pokemon. Oh man, they should make a water flying water. Do they have flying water Pokemons?
Probably like, I would say like a Wishcash or like a Barbroach. Man, I really know my Pokemon.
Yeah, I don't know the names, man.
Yeah.
I've never really loved reading. Maybe I'm just like have like a problem with authority, so much so that I didn't even want to read the Pokemon names.
Maybe it was just your attention span. Like you just didn't have an attention span to like fucking read the thing. I get it.
Yeah, that might be it too. Yeah, there's a couple flying water. They got Wingull on there. Yeah, they've got a couple. Actually, no, actually those aren't flying. Oh, I don't know how I forgot this one. Gyarados. Oh my gosh, dude, I can't even.
Gyarados.
Gyarados. Yeah. But that's not, I feel like it's more dragon and water. Or maybe
That is
dragon.
a dragon flying type.
Yeah, I don't think I mean, like a little bit of water, but it won't learn fly. I can tell you that much.
Gyarados can learn fly, actually.
I don't
You
think
can
so.
fly on a Gyarados.
I think that I tried to teach my Gyarados fly.
Maybe on the
Um,
older games, no, but I remember you can teach Gyarados to fly. Like I've taught Gyarados to fly. On Heart and Gold, Heart Gold.
Maybe it's just Pearl. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about some other games. Do you wanna talk about one, then I'll talk about one that we've been playing?
Yeah, man, I'm still on 2K heavily. I don't
Oh,
get
that's
off it.
awesome.
I'm playing my team a lot, which right now my team is looking pretty good. I got Donovan Mitchell as the shooting guard. I got Kyrie Irving at the point. I got, Luka Doncic at the center, Jason Tatum at the power forward. Just crazy, crazy young team, energetic. We score a lot quickly, and it's exciting to play with that team. I play a lot of games on that. On the My Career too, I recently have like reallotted all my badges because I've been changing up my play style a lot. I've started taking less shots and I'm playing more like a point guard and focusing on passing the ball and facilitating the flow of my offense. Just
Is
making sure all my other guys score.
Yeah, definitely. Is there a way that is there like a synergy stat or something like that? Like, is there like a way that you can like enhance how your team plays together?
That's a great question. You know, there is a teammate rating, which is like how much your teammates essentially like fuck with you, and
Mm-hmm.
it kind of allows you to get the ball more. When you ask for the ball, you can get it more, or when you pass somebody the ball, they're gonna shoot it, they're gonna make it. Stuff, little things like that. You can run plays. You can. They give you more like control over the uniforms you wear, over the songs that play in the arena. Yeah, you can ask for trades. Recently, I asked for a trade because I'm tired of some of the players on my team. They can't finish. I set them up with a beautiful play, but they miss it. And and that really upsets me. I need some finishers on
You
my
gotta be
squad.
able to finish, man. If you're getting on the court.
I mean, they're professionals and they're out here missing layups, you know?
Man, I feel like if you were one of those players, that would be frustrating. 'Cause you're like, I know I wouldn't miss a layup, man. Like, come on. But it's all the game stats. Sports are really cool because they do have that whole stat aspect of it. You know, like there's like people they analyze that, and sports statistics are a whole thing, man. They're really cool. But
They really are.
I gotta ask, how are the shoes, man? Any new sponsorships?
Yeah, man. You know, Nike. I've acquired a lot of sponsorships. They've been giving me a lot of incentives during the games. You know, every time I get a double double, every time I get a fast break score, every time I shoot a three, I'm getting some VC. So I'm really cashing up that VC, and then I go ahead and use that on my team, buy some packs, rip open some packs, and try and beef up my collection.
Do you have any like retro jerseys or anything like that?
Yeah, right now I got a retro Dallas Mavericks jersey that I'm loving. It's like this green, this very like off green color that I don't know how they ever made it a uniform. I really have a thing for like clothes that are just like people are curious how it ever got off of the production line. And that uniform, man, if you saw it, you'd be like, this is so boring, yet so intriguing.
Oh, I love that, man. So your team, like, it's you, the player that you made, and then there's four other players. But do you get to pick your city?
So the city is just the team of the NBA team, and you do get a say in the NBA team you get drafted on, but essentially it's all about the NBA draft and whatever team is willing to offer you a contract. I chose the New York Knicks because
Oh yeah, I
I'm
remember.
born and
Yeah.
raised in New
Mhm.
York, and the Knicks did give me a contract. The Knicks do need a point guard. The Knicks need a lot of things. I'm playing for the Knicks, but honestly, I'm thinking about leaving because, as I said, people can't finish. I'm thinking about going to play for the Lakers, getting a nice max contract because
Good, man.
I'm playing like a star, man. I'm gonna at this pace, I'm gonna get Rookie of the Year, that's for sure. I'm gonna get probably Most Valuable Player. Fingers crossed. If I get those two awards, I'm definitely gonna get a max contract in LA.
You should, man. You should move out to the smog state.
Yeah,
I'm excited for you,
go
man.
play with
How
LeBron.
dude, that would be fun. I'm starting to see why how like this could be like really cool for you if you like love or like super invested in like NBA. Because
I
like
love basketball.
that is cool. Like you're literally like you are like a rookie and you're like in your hometown, like your home state, like on your home turf, and you're like about to be rookie of the year MVP, and then like you can go and like literally play with like LeBron, and like that's so cool, man. Like I hope that happens for you. What's your second and third pick teams that you would like to go to after the season?
If I get into free agency, if I don't get to go to the Lakers, I might. I don't know, man. That's a good question. I'll weigh my options. I might stay with the Knicks, see if they offer me a max. Just see wherever I get the most money.
So you're gonna be a sellout.
Hey, man, I'm a professional athlete, all right? And I'm entitled to such treatment.
You should, man. I think it'd be cool to go with the Raptors. I don't know how you can beat the fucking Raptors. They're just a cool ass mascot in fucking Toronto.
It's an awesome city. Shouts out Toronto.
How did they play in this game? Like, have you played them at all?
Yeah, I play the Raptors, man, and I had a hard time beating them with my team. They're, a really good defensive squad. They really shut down the pace. They got some shooters.
Is this
So
based
they
on the
really throw
season
you off.
that they won?
Um, I believe so. I think the Raptors just won. I'm not too sure though who won the
Well,
last finals.
so what season is this NBA? Or I'm sorry,
This is
what?
the 20. It goes by rosters, which the rosters get updated frequently based off of like live NBA rosters, what's actually going on in the NBA.
Oh, okay,
So
really? So like if you're like
yeah,
you could be playing a team that they like just updated their roster like the other day.
yep,
They like
and that
update
happens. Yeah,
in real
you
time.
you can choose if you want that to happen as well. You can also choose a roster that you want the game to run on.
That is
But
cool.
I choose live rosters.
That's fucking cool. That adds a whole another aspect of the game I didn't even know. Wow, that is cool.
Dude, it's really intricate stuff. I love it. I love it a lot. But what I love most about the sport in general, is just like the data side of it. Were we talking? Did I have this conversation with you about like data analytics in baseball and how it's like caused a radical shift in the sport recently within like the last 5 years, also in the NBA?
Maybe I think that we might have talked about it briefly because I think that I might have said something about how I had like a sports econ class like I could have taken, but like I took stuff with that professor. I don't know. You go into it, man. Say what you were gonna say about it.
Well, it's just really interesting to see now. There's on a lot of sports teams. There's a division just devoted to data analytics and seeing, just looking at the numbers and being able to see that if we put, Kyrie Irving on the floor of Jason Tatum, we're going to score X amount on Mondays and Wednesdays, stuff like that, which is it's just awesome to see how numbers can, kind of predict what happens in the physical realm. It's
Yeah.
exciting.
I think that I might have said something along the lines of this. So I had to take a business statistics class in like for my double major. Actually, I think all business students had to do it. And I really, truth be told, I really got to give a huge shout out to Taylor. I wouldn't have passed without you. We had some study groups. You really helped me out. But I think I got a C in that one.
Oof.
I thought it was really cool. I know why I didn't do so well in that class because I also was like I had a heavy load that semester. So like if I had been taking like lower key classes,
Excuses.
yeah. I mean also like, it's a grade is a grade and it doesn't justify your intelligence. Not justify. It's not a I don't think it's a good judge of your intelligence, but I thought the shit that we went over in that class was really cool. Yeah, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I specifically remember like being like, I wish that I could study more for this, but I have other things I got to do.
I feel
But
that.
yeah. So that the professor that taught that class, they also taught business statistics, which I had a lot of friends take, and they told me a lot about it. I didn't really have time to take that class. I was kind of focused more on like business history, economics classes. I thought those would be more useful. I learned a lot about
Yeah.
a lot of. I think that I think that what I learned about in those classes definitely like pays off more in like my day to day life than what sports statistics would. But it was like really cool because all the statistics models that we did with this guy were all from his sports class. So I did get quite a bit of it from that. And it was really cool because we had to build some like Excel models based on like tennis games where it was like if this tennis player is serving on the right or the left side and the person that they're serving against gets one or two volleys or like the probability that they're gonna lose or win the point go like it like for example on like a right-handed person if they were serving on like the left side, it was like they're like if the person against them like has like two or three volleys, their statistics are just gonna go down for winning the point like every volley, like every
Yeah.
or after two, like if they can't win it in two, you know what I mean? Like they're gonna lose the point
Yeah.
probably. Which is really cool to like how it can like pretty much come down to that. Because like I mean like it does come down to that like a lot of the times where it's like if your opponent like if they're great but they're like they have like an injury on like their one ankle, like you gotta put the ball over there to where they gotta use that. And if you can like consistently do that, like that's cool that they have that. I also took another class. I don't think I've ever have. I don't know if I've talked to you about. Have I talked to you about Monte Carlo simulations at all?
No, I'm
Oh,
curious. What are those?
you should really look into this. And if you are a listener, you should also look into this because Monte Carlo simulations are fucking rad. So Monte Carlo simulation, so they were invented by the people that or the scientists that worked on the Manhattan Project, and they basically
Okay.
they like made this mathematical and statistical
Model.
model they were like this is going to determine if the hydrogen bomb is going to blow up the world, or it's going to like end the world, kind of like they were like they made this simulation to determine if the atomic bomb, I definitely misspoke, I said hydrogen, if the atomic bomb would blow up the world. It does not take a genius to make this, like to make a Monte Carlo simulation. It takes a genius to invent it, which they were all geniuses and they invented this. But if you are a little bit above average intelligence, you can totally do this. So that's like what it was made for. Today, so I'll basically like I'll kind of tell you what it is. So like a Monte Carlo simulation is you have like all these variables and you have it in a mathematical equation. You have all of these variables and basically they come out to like a total. And then, so like it's really easy to do in Excel because you can have like all of these variables and you can do like give me a random number in between 2 and 5. And you're like, that's your variance. And you're like, and like you assign like a value to that. Like that's how much it's going to vary. Like realistically, that's how much it could vary. And so like you have all the variables and how much they could vary. And then you have that equal like a sum. And then at the end of that, you basically run it. So like so if you run it twice, you're going to get 2 different numbers. Right. Cause there's a variance and it gives you like a randomly generated number.
It can range.
But there's like almost every, like there's probably like 12 to 20 variables and they're all randomly generating numbers. And like you assign those values and then you run it 1,000 times and then you take the average of the 1,000.
Yeah.
And
I see.
So that's like, so like basically you're like, that's probably what's going to happen. So that
allows you to make a prediction.
Mm-hmm. Like within a pretty reasonable, it's probably going to be close to that based on your variables. Now, if you change one of those variables, like if you're wrong on one of those variables, it changes the whole thing. So it's like there is like some error like there if you're off on predicting the variables, but
some coefficient of error, is that what it is?
Yeah.
I'm taking a stat class.
It's all gonna. Oh man, I'm trying to remember how much it's. I think it's if you. Well, then there's also like which curve you're going on, where it's like a standard distribution or like an L. Like so, like for example, oh man, this even gets in a little more into the weeds. So if you're gonna do this for like some variables, you want it to be a standard distribution, and you're gonna have so like for example, like what you're saying here. So like if you make some like one of like let's say there's 12 variables and one of the variables you want it to be a standard variation, there's a 1 or like there's a 0.5% of a chance it's going to be outside of that outside of the range. So like if you like tell Excel to like for example to like give you a standard distribution of numbers in between 1 and 10, you're going to get about 0.5% of that is going to be outside 1 and 10. Yeah. That's the standard of error, which pissed me off as a student because I was like, I told Excel to like give me something in between 0 and 10, and it was giving me like a negative number or like a little something over 10. And I was like, why is it doing that? But like, yeah, that's the standard of error there. So yeah, that's something that can be frustrating. But like also like if you run something 1,000 times in a number generator of like that kind of distribution, like you're gonna get a little bit outside that.
Yeah.
Which is nice, because like if you are trying to like to do something, you're trying to do like what's the completely unexpected variable. So like I think like a lot of for the model that I did, I had to like population. Like I was like population is not gonna like it's not gonna be a standard distribution. Like it's pretty much gonna stay the same. Like to like a little bit of variable. So I did it like a left curve. I was like, it's probably gonna like it's just gonna go up. Is kind of what I assumed.
Exponentially.
Actually, I think I did that for something else that was based on the population because I didn't do a standard distribution for my population. But wow, I really talked about a lot of numbers there.
Yeah, man. We got lots of numbers. We went into like a number tangent there.
Yeah.
But one want to know what some games that you've been playing are.
Yeah, definitely.
What have you been playing?
So I've been playing 2 games, and I'll kind of let you decide which one I talk about first. So I picked up Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1+2.
Oh yeah.
That game is $39 on it's also on EA Plus. I also got Star Wars Squadrons, which is another $39.99.
Oh man, you pulled the trigger on Squadrons.
I don't even know if I told you. Did I tell you?
No, you were telling me how you were on the fence, but you didn't tell me that you pulled the trigger.
Oh man, it came out on October 2nd, which was a Friday, and I was like, fuck it, I'll buy it.
Okay. I heard you, Blake. Like I said, fuck it.
But yeah, which one would you like me to talk about first?
Dude, get into Squadrons,
Oh.
because I've heard a lot about Tony Hawk, but I haven't really heard a lot about Squadrons, and I think I'm on the fence about that. I kind of want to get into some Star Wars games myself, so put me on.
So yeah, it's only been out for 3 days. So this is just like my hot take that I pretty much devoted all of yesterday to playing it. I mean, like I very easily like could have spent my entire day playing it, but like I kind of like played for a couple hours and like took a break, then like had another spurt, and then like after I finished the objective that I was like trying to do, then I like played it a little bit more, and then I was like, yeah, I'm
Dang.
done for the day.
Okay.
So it's complicated with this game. So I'm gonna talk about I'm gonna say I'm gonna judge it based on its intentions, and then I'm kind of gonna go into it a little bit. Where to start here? So Star Wars Squadrons is it's a game where you're in the cockpit of a fighter, like a TIE fighter or an X-wing, or there's a couple other like classes as well. And they actually, this is probably my absolute favorite part of the game so far. They give you the ability to toggle your power. So like in the TIE fighter, which is the Imperial starship, you have weapons and like you have weapons on the right side and your maneuverability and engines on the left side.
Okay.
So like in the first mission, you're like basically you're flying around and your engines are stabilized, and they're like TIE 5, blow that up, like shoot those turrets down, like basically like blow that shit up. And then it's like, hey, switch your weapons on. Why is your TIE stabilized for? Like, don't you want to get a victory for the Empire? And basically you like use the D-pad and you like switch. Well, actually, it gives you the option to choose whether you want to start out as the rebels or the Empire.
That's
and
sick.
they kind of said in the like it's said in the story, and like from like what they said about the game's release, that they're like you can like it's gonna toggle back and forth in the story mode. But I think the first mission is the only one where you get to like you have like a choice. And I normally like I'm always choosing the rebels, but I don't know, maybe I just like an underdog because this is like after Endor, and like kind of know the Empire lost that one, and then they kind of lost the rest of them. But I chose the Empire, and it takes place, the first mission takes place like at the beginning of it all, like when the rebels are still in their infancy a little bit. And I don't know if I really want to spoil it too. I'm actually not going to spoil the story at all. I was thinking about saying some stuff, but like it's only 3 days. I mean, like actually by the time this comes out. No, I'm not going to spoil it for you, Brandon. I want you to kind of decide on your own if you're going to get this.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, so then you play it a little bit. I played the story, and it's cool because they have that like to where like when you switch it to your weapons, like your weapons are like significantly more powerful, and you can like shoot them faster. But like you're also like kind of a little bit like a duck in the water because you're like you can't really move as fast, and like you can hardly move at all. That's also like when you get to like play as like I keep saying the rebels, but they're in this game they're very clear in stating they're the New Republic. That's what they're calling themselves. And then the Empire also like kind of mocks it a little bit. They're like, listen, the New Republic, they can call themselves whatever they want, but they're still rebel scums. I just think that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
But so what's cool is that when you're on the light side, the fighting as X-wings from the New Republic, you have a third power that you have to toggle in between, which is your shields.
Mm.
And so you have your shields, weapons, and your engines.
That's a lot to keep up with.
It is a lot to keep up with, and this is going to be one of my biggest gripes about the game. It's just uneven. You know what I mean? One starship has a shield and the other one doesn't. I played I played a couple hours of the multiplayer on the weekend, and they just kind of I did random faction. It lets you either choose if you want to play as an Imperial or a Rebel, and then if you choose random, I didn't know this, but until after I did it. But if you choose random, you get like an XP bonus for choosing.
What?
So that definitely helped me out a little bit, and I can see why they're doing that because
That's sick.
it is very clear that there's like an imbalance in between the two factions a little bit.
No, yeah.
And
That's good.
for every single match that I did random, I was the Empire, which is
Of
not
course.
surprising because they're the bad guys in like the franchise.
Nobody wants to be the Empire.
Nobody wants to be the Empire. There's two currencies, like in-game currencies that you can get from multiplayer. There's a currency to upgrade your starfighter. So like for every rank that you get an increase, you get one. Actually, you get two ability. You get they're like square. Basically, I'm just gonna call them square and stars because they look like the squares. It looks like a square, and the other one looks like a star. If you get a square,
Right.
like it costs one square to upgrade like an engine or a hull or your turrets or like your secondary fire or your tertiary fire or like those kind of things. So you get two. So you get one for each faction, like one possible upgrade per faction every time you upgrade a level. And you also I haven't maxed it out. Like I don't think I'll ever max them out. And then you also get 200 of the star points. And there's like a bunch of different like ways that you can like customize inside of your cockpit. As I think I mentioned before, like it is locked in first person. And I'm not like I kind of said, I was like, I kind of wish that it wasn't locked in first person. But like one of the cool things about it is like you can customize what you see on your dock. Like you can like one of the things that I thought was the coolest is like if you have a TIE fighter, you can like hang your dog tags, like your Imperial like ID. And it kind of looks like a dog tag from like the top of the. And
That's
like
cool.
you can also like if you're on the light side, you can get like an Ewok bobblehead, which is pretty cool. And they also have like some like all those customizations. All the cool ones. So like there's like a couple tiers. There's like a 200 things that cost like 200. There's things that cost 400. Things that cost 800, and then there's things that cost 1200. So and like this. So there's like everything, like all the things that you can buy with that are like outfits for your pilot, helmets for your pilot, skins for your ship, and then like you can customize the inside of your TIE fighter as well. And you can only get those through like ranking up in the multiplayer.
Right.
So like it's a pretty short game story wise. I haven't finished it yet, but I mean like it's only like they say online it's only like 8 to 10 hours, and like there's basically 14 missions, and I've definitely played over 5. And I didn't really I played a lot of the online multiplayer just because I wanted to get like one of the like $1,200 skins, the in-game currency. I was really
wanted to flex.
Yeah, I did that because I wanted to see because I ended up buying like an engine upgrade because there are 4 classes of ships that you can pick in the game. Like so if like you're in a lobby and you get shot out of the sky, you can pick between like 4 different classes of ships, and they all have like their own advantages and whatnot. And I noticed
What's your favorite?
Well, I don't really know yet because I only played as
Okay.
3 of them really
Right.
because I got like there's like a daily challenge that would give me some coin for like playing as an X-wing or as a TIE fighter, which
Okay.
are the like
So there's incentive to like
there were
stick to one and like.
for me and that like for my daily challenges, yeah. After I got that, I kind of switched it up a little bit, but basically I ended up getting like an engine upgrade, and it stayed, or like actually it was a weapons upgrade, and I could use it. I saw that it was also unlocked for another one of my ships that like was a different class of ship. So I was like, I wonder
Yeah.
if I buy a skin, is that skin gonna transfer? Because I'm like, those are
Right.
like, there's so much that you can spend this in-game currency on. Like, it took me like
Yeah. Nah, that's a lot
that's like a lot, like, especially like that's 6 ranks. That's six
to buy
ranks.
skins for every individual like class.
So there's 8 ships. So
But
you get one of those skins for 8 ships, and it takes you a little over an hour. You know,
they
that's
probably
10
want you to.
hours.
They probably. Sorry to cut you off there, but they probably want you to like get your skin for each individual one because you can probably buy the currency in the game and
Well,
they'll maximize
I
on
didn't
those
see that yet.
microtransactions.
I'm sure that I don't know. I'm wondering if, yeah, because there are 2 in-game currencies, and one's like for like your actual ship. I wonder if they're gonna do that. I didn't see any menus for like a store, which like maybe I just like was maybe I'm just so used to blocking it out of my brain that I didn't even see it. But I don't think that I saw like a store for in-game currencies.
Yeah,
So that's kind of like an overview of it. I'm gonna
interesting.
yeah, I'm kind of gonna get into what I thought about it. So like the intention of the game is kind of what I'm gonna judge it on. I feel like I'm a self, like we're new to this. I'm kind of like self-proclaimed a self, you know what I mean? So I don't know how this is gonna go, but this is like my game review, I guess. This is like my game review.
Yeah.
This is my hot take on Star Wars Squadrons. So, oh God, I guess I'll just come out and say it. I thought the game was fucking trash.
Wow.
um,
What the fuck?
I
I was
know,
not
but
expecting that at all.
yeah, yeah. Well, so because of that, I was like, I gotta think of something good to say about this. He's like, I'm not really into. I don't really think that you can bash anything, and like I think that like even this, like I do not like this, but there are like some really good things about it that I'm gonna talk about. Like first off,
Indulge.
for me personally, I think that the ability to like toggle your energy in the starfighter to like weapons or maneuverability is fucking rad, and that is a cool game mechanic that I really hope sticks in like this type of
Future
game.
games.
Yeah. I guess I'm just gonna rip into it a little bit and then kind of. I guess I'm gonna rip into it and then end on the positives. I think that makes me feel a little bit better. Yeah, I thought the graphics were kind of trash. I mean, like, so like
Yeah.
here's the thing, like it's not a full game. Like, it's like, I mean, like, yeah, you are still spending $40 on it. I didn't think the graphics were very good. Like me personally, like even like you can't even like zoom in. So like this is a game mechanic that like you cannot change.
Right.
It has nothing to do with my feelings. This is just kind of like how it is. And then I have feelings about it. So if you are in a starfighter and you can see another, it says how many meters away they are, and
Okay.
you cannot hurt them unless they are within 1,000 meters. So like
Oh, what the?
yeah, so like if you see somebody, obviously like you are in this sim, and like so if you like see somebody flying and you're like they're further away, you're like, oh wow, I'm gonna shoot like way in front of them, and then if they don't change and they run into my lasers, like that's on them. It doesn't, like, I mean, like it lets you shoot, but it just says like out of range. All like the I
Oh, I
looked at
see.
everything that's like all the different customizable things. Like the max range is 1,000 meters, which like if you're like trying to like go around the map and like hunt people, which I think is how the game is intended to be, because a lot of the lobbies that I were in, it was like the best KD that I saw was like 7-3. Like most of the games, like I'm
Wow.
going like 2 or 3
That's
kills
tough.
and I'm dying 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
Which like I don't think it's meant to.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think it's meant for you to, because you're in a
Fucking
like
dominate.
right, like, and I mean, like, there are 4 classes, like you are not supposed to be that much, like, that might be just because like the game just came out and
Yeah,
everybody's kind of
people
like,
are still figuring it out.
I think that might be part of it, but like I also think like I think that like you are meant to have like because you can also repair your health and like you can like if somebody's firing at you, you can straight up switch all of your power to the maneuverability and then you can just buzz around them like you know what I mean like you have that option like in that moment. Like you can also like drift, like you can like boost and like you can do some like fucking Poe Dameron shit in this game. Like you can really like you are in control. And like if you are a better flyer, like you can totally like you have the ability to totally outmaneuver somebody. And like I've totally outmaneuvered somebody, and like that was really cool. And I don't think that like in like an actual dogfight. And like that's like the game mode is dogfight. Like you're not gonna have like you know what I mean. Like you have one plane, one life. You know what I mean. And like the planes are also like I mean obviously like this is not like meta realistic. You can tell like when you're in it, you're like this is like inexpensive like part of like the war machine, I guess. You know what I mean? Like it's like you're like I should like if somebody's firing at me, I should be able to switch to my engines and get the fuck out of there and find cover. And there's like in these maps, like I guess even though I don't think the graphics are that great, I will definitely credit the map design because there are so many ways that you can find cover. Like I definitely like I would definitely kill myself at least once a match. I mean, there were a couple that I didn't kill myself, but like I definitely like killed myself a couple times from running into something where I was like all right, I got to do a quick turn, and then I just like ran into something that I didn't know was there. But like it's also like that's easy to do because it's locked in first person. You know what I mean? There's so many blind spots that you can't see.
Yeah.
Which I'll come back to because that's kind of me judging it by its intention. Also, just like some other things. So like we had talked about this, and like this is not a way that you should judge a game. I am judging this game on this a little bit. Like I had my Xbox on like literally all day, and like my fan did not turn on once. And like that, like my Xbox is about as old as he's an oldest time Xbox. He's an old man.
He's a turtle.
He is a fucking turtle. He's a fucking tank. He's on his last breath, his last stretch. And I think that we've mentioned in previous episodes, like pretty much any game that I run now, it's like wheezing, sucking in as much air as possible. And like I literally had my Xbox on all day and the fan never turned on. Which like not to say that like you should like judge it by that, but I was very underwhelmed. And like also like
And your Xbox was too.
yeah, I mean, like, it's really not that big of a game. It's only like 23 gigabytes. Maybe it's like 28 gigabytes. Also, like, that's like the multiplayer. And like, the story mode is like the best part about this game for me so far has been like jumping into the story mode, being in the X-Wing or the TIE Fighter, and then like going out on these missions as like an ace. And like, that is so fun. Like, I'm definitely immersed in that. But like, I'm also savoring it a little bit because I know that's my favorite part of the game, and I know there's only 10 hours of it. Like I know there's only 14 missions, and I've already completed most of them, or well, like half of them. So like if you are like wanting to get this game for like a really cool story, and like you consider I consider myself in the weeds. Like I'm definitely a Star Wars gamer. Like I kind of the reason I kind of said fuck it is I was like it doesn't matter like how if this is
you love the franchise.
I'm gonna buy it. And I also like I have some misgivings about EA as well. But then like
Me too.
I also
Me
like
too.
not to get too much ahead of myself, but like I was blown away by Tony Hawk, and that's also an EA game. And they do so many cool things in that I was just kind of like really underwhelmed with some of the story stuff. And like this really kind of took me, what I'm about to like say next, like really took me out of it. And like not that, like I said, like it is like my favorite part of this, like the story was like jumping in and like fighting the X-Wing or like being in the cockpit. Like that part was rad. But then when I got out of the cockpit, like to go to my next mission, I couldn't walk around. You'd have to like look and point at like so like if two people were talking and you wanted to go talk to them, you'd have to like click that. Like you'd have to like move your cursor with your joysticks and like so it was like a point and click kind of thing.
That's annoying. You have to point and then it takes you there. That's a little off-putting.
And I'm like this 2020 like I feel like we've moved past that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's like the developers weren't trying with like the movement capabilities of it,
well,
kind of.
I feel like we can't really knock feel like we can't knock the devs on this one. I don't think it had anything to do with them because, like, I mean, like this game, like it got leaked that it was going to be announced. Like, I don't think they pushed up the timeline at all because it got leaked. But I do think
Right.
somebody was like, "Hey, how much longer? How much time would it take you to make this element of it?" And they're like, "Oh, it would take this X amount of time." They're like, "Oh, you got to cut that." I really
In
feel like
half.
that had to have happened because the
Yeah.
way the dialogue is structured. So like if you like for example, if you go up to talk, like you have to point and click. You can't walk up to it. If you like point and click at somebody and like go and talk to them, they talk in like really short segments, and then there's like a pause, and then they just move on to the next thing. And I'm like, what the
Oh,
fuck?
weird.
And then I was like, it hit me. I was like, oh my God, this is like it's a dialogue tree. It was not like, it didn't give me the option to choose what I was going to say to them, but that's how it was structured. To where I was like, oh my God, like this totally was meant to be a dialogue tree to where like you
Yeah.
had to like give them different reactions in order to get that line of dialogue. Like I didn't have that option. So it was just like, and then and like the pauses were like pauses, and I feel like they left those in there on purpose for like for me to be like, oh, this was supposed to be a dialogue tree, but it's not a dialogue tree.
No, I don't think they did that on purpose per se.
Well, I mean, like maybe they had to make it like make sense, but like it was clearly like the end of a thought, and then like a totally random new thought like came up. Like one of the characters like that I like talked to, like it got like really personal, and I was like, that got really personal out of like nowhere. Which I mean, like obviously, like if you're an ace, like your teammates and your camaraderie is really important, you know. But then it felt like that was like to me it was like if you want that option, or it's like, oh, like I don't really care, man. Like I just want to get out there. You can just navigate the dialogue tree to do that. But then you're like, oh, I want to see what this guy actually has to say. Like you choose those ones, you know.
Yeah.
It feels like it gave me like the intimate one, like the fully intimate ones, and like I'm cool with that. I just feel like it wasn't earned. You know what I mean?
It wasn't warranted.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, like I wanted something out of this, you know what I mean? Like I mean, one of the people that I could talk to was Wedge Antilles, which is one of the people that like survived when they destroyed the first Death Star. Like that was one of like
He's
the
like,
pilots. Yeah, and I was like, that would have been cool to have the option to like do a dialogue tree. And I think that they had meant to do a dialogue tree just because of the way it was like structured, and it was like the start and stop. And like you can't even like look around. So like even like when you're in the hangar, like this really kind of got me. So like I said, like I bought this skin, like one of the legendary skins. It took me like a couple hours to unlock. I couldn't even see it. Like once I equipped it, I couldn't even see it. I had like what I would have to do to see it is I'd have to stand in front of the TIE fighter, click on there was like an eyeball, like point and click at the eyeball, and then it like gave me an option to like point and click to the ramp, and I like pointed and clicked to the ramp, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, but like I'm also like I'm in a 3D space. Like I wish that I could just like take the joysticks and like look around. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And that's where I was like, I kind of like after playing it, like after my reaction, I was like, you know what? I was like bummed out, and I was like,
I could see why.
and I was like, this really like is not what I wanted. It's not what I expected. And then I kind of like, I was like, oh man, like the Star Wars community can be like, especially the Star Wars gaming community. Like I was like, they can be kind of rough. Like I kind of wonder what it's gonna be online. And I was like, kind of like holding my breath a little bit. There was a lot of reviews that were like, oh, like this game is like trash. Like I've already like requested a refund. And, like there's all kinds of like that, and like people just like bashing it and bashing it. And like I said, like I think there is something to be here. And then I was like, what are these people with like 5 stars saying? Like, are they just like kind of mindless? And then it was like, oh, of course. And it was like, of course that I knew this in my head, but like because it's not me, I didn't experience it. I didn't think about that. They made this game compatible for VR and for pedals and a joystick. So
Oh, I see.
like after like I knew that. So like if you are in a VR headset, this game would be fucking rad. Because there's nothing like this out there for VR. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing I would venture to say this is probably like one of the best VR games that has like come out for VR.
It is a VR game.
They put it on the Xbox and the PlayStation so they would make more money. This shit was definitely made. Well, I don't know about
For
necessarily
PC.
PC. Well, yeah, I'm gonna say PC because like the pedals and the joystick, yeah, like VR
VR,
and
yeah.
like I'm sure that you could buy it on the Oculus Quest, but if you have the ability to check this game out for VR, like you like 100% should. Which is also would explain why the graphics aren't as good because they have to like there's like a minimum there's a minimum frame rate for
Frame
those things,
rate.
and that I'm sure this looks amazing in VR. So if you are a PC gamer and you have pedals and a joystick,
Yeah.
that's awesome that they made that like this game is for people that like love those like flight simulators, and like this is for people that, and like having it locked in first person even makes me like, of course, like this is for.
Simulators. People who love doing that.
Mhm.
Driving simulators.
I think that I'm cool saying that this game is just not for me. As somebody that's like a Star Wars gamer that like loves, I love the narrative and the Star Wars characters and like the narrative, like that's my favorite part of it. Like yeah, I also like really liked. I personally like Battlefront 2's like online starfighter better, because you can shoot people from more than 1,000 meters away. But in like if you were.
You can shoot people from a distance.
Yeah, so like if you're gonna go for the simulator like that makes it more realistic, and I think that like if you're especially if you're looking for like a combat flight simulator, this has got to be the dream, you know?
Dude, people love simulators, man. I have a friend that has a really, really realistic driving simulator because he just loves speeding, but he doesn't want to die. So he simulates driving on like really fast cars.
That's really
And
cool.
yeah,
Does he do it on like tracks or does he do it like on country roads?
he does both. He does a little bit of both tracks, country roads. He sends me videos of like a lot of stuff, and man, this shit looks so fucking real, man.
That's
And
awesome.
like he has like the headset and the pedals and like the gears, and yeah, man, he's really invested a few racks into this.
That's awesome.
But you know, that's what he likes.
Yeah, and I mean like people like I said, like the joystick and the pedals for flight simulators, like it's like its own genre, and like for people to like have the ability to jump into this and do that.
Yeah, people who have the means.
Yeah, like that is 100% what it's for. I actually think like I think Logic streamed on. I don't know this for sure, but I think I saw an Instagram video of his where he was like, "Oh, like Star Wars sent me like a joystick to like play this on my Switch. Like we're gonna be checking out
Oh shit,
Squadrons." So, and he was like in a cockpit. I was like, "That's fucking cool." So like
that's
I'm probably
awesome.
gonna check out Logic's Twitch because I'm sure that he is gonna have like the experience. Like if you're more like me and you're like this, I wanted a Star Wars game, and this is not really a Star Wars game. It's like a flight sim game. You should check out Logic's Twitch, or like maybe check out a Twitch to where somebody's playing it.
On the VR,
Yeah, because I think that's
the
you'll probably
experience.
get the experience out of it just from kind of watching
Yeah,
them
totally,
do it rather than spending the
totally.
money. And I just don't think it's built for somebody with a controller.
Me either.
I don't know for sure if this is true, just because I mean it's only been out for 3 days. I think that like if you're in a VR headset and you look around, like I'm sure that you can see like a blind spot. You know what I mean? Like if you look over your shoulder in VR, I'm sure that you can see out the window. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And like, cause like if you think about it, if you're in a car, you can't see your blind spot except for in the mirror, and like there could be somebody right.
or if you look.
Right, but like so like if you have a VR headset and you take a look over your shoulder, you're gonna see that. And I bet that I bet in VR you can see more of the cockpit and the world around you through the cockpit.
Yeah,
That's kind of my take on that. I mean, I'm glad that I checked it out, and I think that like I kind of had really low expectations, and I mean like I feel like I'm justified in being disappointed, but I'm also like totally like I'm like yeah, this just is not for me, and this is for other people, and that's totally fine. So I'm glad I checked it out. But if you like we're kind of looking for like a multiplayer thing for like Star Wars, I'm probably gonna say this probably isn't gonna be for you. I
yeah.
wouldn't recommend it to a friend. And the reason I wouldn't recommend it to a friend is because if this was for you, you would already have it. That's that. But
That's that on
that's
that.
that on that. I have been fucking loving Tony Hawk though.
Yeah, dude, that's an awesome game. My buddy has it as well, and he's loving that.
I have
Loving that.
zero experience with this franchise. This is my first Tony Hawk game. I think that's kind of cool. That's kind of why I wasn't gonna pick it up. I was kind of like I don't know. I don't know if this Tony Hawk thing is for me. Have you ever played any of the Tony Hawks? You have any experience with them?
I played like the games on like PS2, the Tony Hawk Skate something. It's just like a story mode.
Yeah.
Very fun game. Really fun game. I played on the DS too. You had the Tony Hawk game,
hmm
skating game. I just love like getting on a board and like simulating because that's shit I wouldn't do in real life.
Yeah, like the sports thing about that is like I know I would never definitely learn to ollie. I could definitely learn to kickflip, but like I would never do that because I'm
Right.
doing like all these moves that are like boneless.
Crazy.
Yeah, bro, no way. No way I would ever put my body through that. And then get right back up and just do some more shit.
Yeah, bro, it's never happening in real life. And I just be testing my limits in those skate games, bro. Like Skate 2, Skate 3. Man, those are some fun ass skating games. Skating games in general are just fucking fun. The soundtracks are fucking amazing. You just get so many like. There's this one song that I got from, Tony Hawk game, and I think it's by the Transplants,
hmm
the California Transplants, something like that. I think it's called Babylon.
You say Babylon?
Oh, man, I gotta find this song for everyone on this podcast because it's such a good song.
Yeah, definitely.
California
While you're looking, I'll
Transplants.
kind of talk about some other stuff. I love the soundtrack on this. I'm really loving just hopping in. And it's also like not that I'm like overly busy. Like I literally jumped in for like 30 minutes on my lunch today. Like had my lunch and I was like, hey, I got like 45 minutes left. Like I'm gonna jump into Tony Hawk for like 30 minutes and that was super chill just to be able to do that. I like the soundtrack is like really relaxing. I really like the sound of the board though. Yeah.
The sound of the board.
Yeah, like the sound of the tricks and the boards and stuff.
Oh, when like it lands and stuff, like the FX
Yeah, like
are really accurate.
grinding. Yeah, I'm into that.
They definitely, that's interesting stuff, man. Like people who work in like in the acoustics or like sound engineers who like their job is just to like capture those sounds and, different variations and how they like play with the game. That's interesting work. I'd love to like just pick somebody's brain, a sound engineer's brain.
Yeah, have you ever seen oh my gosh, what's it called? It's the documentary about the Mandalorian. They talk about the soundtrack and the sound design and how they made that. You should really check that out.
No, I haven't. I should check that out though. I've been seeing it on Disney Plus.
Yeah, that's really cool. And like that dude definitely. I like his vibes.
Oh, and I found the song.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
the
lay it
band
on.
is the Transplants, and the name of the song is California Babylon.
California Babylon. Oh, I'm definitely gonna check.
Yeah.
I think that we should probably wrap it up, but I'm definitely going to talk some more about Tony Hawk later. Maybe we could even do like a whole episode on Tony Hawk in the future.
Yeah, we can definitely. I can try and embellish my memories on those games and just get back on that for next episode.
Definitely.
We can have some Tony Hawk, some skating game vibes. We can have a skate game episode.
Skater vibes, bro. But yeah, I love
skater vibes.
This game really blew me away. It really does some cool things, and I'd love to get more into them. Yeah, I'm just kind of pumped to talk about it, dude. Yeah, I kind of checked out more than I can handle right now. I got a lot on my plate, on my game plate, but
That's the name of the game, man. There's always a lot on our plates.
There's a lot of games on the game plate. I'm at a game buffet right now.
Just eating.
All right, man. We wrapping it up?
This is the end, man. Let's wrap it up, man. It's been a very productive episode. We got a lot out. We got to talk about, I got to talk about those Nintendo games that I'm excited to play. I got to talk about some 2K.
Oh, yeah.
You got to talk about Star Wars Squadron. You gave us that really in-depth overview of the game. I don't think I'm going to get it anymore.
I don't think you
but I think some viewers out there might be swayed towards it, especially the VR.
Definitely.
The VR users.
And it is cool.
And
it is rad. I feel like I kind of bashed on it a little bit, but it is cool. And if you you'll know, watch some gameplay. If this is for you, you'll know. And if it is, check it out, man. It's not a $60 game. So actually, if you're like, hey, man, maybe I've never played a flight simulator and I'm kind of interested, check it out because it's not that expensive.
Not at all.
All right, well,
alrighty.
that's it. Peace in the streets, my friends.